What's going on out there, world? It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watch Along Wrestling. Hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. Thanks so much for checking us out here on Watch Along Wrestling. If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you leave a big thumbs up and subscribe to Watch Along Wrestling so you get all these updates coming into your inbox. And these updates are going to pick up now as we continue along our journey through the WWE in 2002 and the year that was, through the lens of a DVD collection. For those who don't know, a couple of months ago I came on here and talked about how my plan was to start a WWE DVD pay-per-view collection, and I've done just that with the year 2002. I wanted to start with 2002 because that's the first year that WWE had every single pay-per-view on DVD, so I figured that would be a great starting point. And if you did not do so yet, make sure you check out the unboxing of this bad boy, the Royal Rumble 2002. Today, my plan is to jump on here and go over this son of a gun, No Way Out 2002, but before doing so, I realized I never did a review of this pay-per-view here, Royal Rumble 2002. I had done the unboxing, but never got to the review, so I think what happened was I had gotten this DVD like just in the nick of time for Royal Rumble season, and so right after the Rumble, I'm kind of rumbled out. But before we continue along on this 2002 journey, I only think it's right to go back and give you guys a review and my thoughts on the actual DVD and the show. I'm going to get to the extras here on this DVD at the end, so make sure we have to watch this all the way through, because I think the extras actually are pretty interesting, and they do a lot to really add to the value of this DVD. But before we get there, let me break down the actual show for you guys, starting with the first match of the night, which was Spike Dudley and Taz defending the Tag Team Championship against the Dudley Boys. Spike and Taz had kind of been a new team on the scene for WWE, and a team I really enjoyed. I think it was WWE on Fox, the infamous account as it is these days, had put together a question asking who was your favorite makeshift team in WWE history, and honestly, Spike and Taz were right there for me. I really enjoyed the work that these guys did together. They were a lot of fun. Good to see them get the win here. Fun little 5-6 minute inconsequential match, if you will, but I thought it was really good stuff. Next up, you have Intercontinental Championship, William Regal versus Edge, and I want to say, I like that you have, boom, Tag Champions, Intercontinental Champion, Women's Champion, World Champion. All the titles, pretty much, except for European and Hardcore, your main titles on the line, in addition to the Rumble and the Street Fight, which we'll get to. So, Edge and William Regal, we see a title change here as William Regal wins the championship from Edge. This was a feud that honestly came a little long in the tooth, and I think went on a little too long. But I will say this, when I was a kid, I was much more of as a youngster, I liked the style of the Hardy Boys, Rob Van Dam, Edge and Christian, the Dudleys. So William Regal was someone that I didn't really, I don't think I appreciated his work. I really now do as an adult. He's fantastic in the ring, and it was really cool to see some of the antics he did here. This is the era of the power of the punch, if you will. So during the deal here, referee realizes that William Regal has the brass knucks, ends up taking them away. Regal finds a second pair, clocks Edge, and wins the title. So good stuff there, and I thought they had a pretty good match. I will say Edge is also someone that, like babyface Edge, who was clearly on the rise for WWE in the beginning of the 2000s, I feel like just was missing something. I don't think that he really found himself for a couple more years. I was not a fan of Edge, even though I did enjoy his Rob Zombie theme song. So, moving right along here, we did get to our next match, Trish Stratus versus Jazz for the Women's Championship. I think Jazz might be one of the most, the biggest unsung hero, if you will, in the year 2002 for WWE. You know, Finlay gets a lot of praise and a lot of credit for what he did to help to kind of transform the women's division from the divas to women's wrestling in WWE in the early 2000s. But I think Jazz should also get a great deal of credit. She was so underrated in the ring. Really strong stuff here. She's right in this match. Trish Stratus, she is now making that transition into becoming more of a legitimate in-ring competitor, and I think this was a solid match. It's also during a strange period where Jacqueline, I guess they didn't really have much for her, so they had made her a women's referee. She's the referee of this match. But this is a good little match here. Jazz, though, is legit as they come. Way before her time. If Jazz existed today, she'd be right there, in my opinion, with Asuka and the Four Horsewomen. I'm a big fan of Jazz, so good match there. Next up, Street Fight, no DQ, no countout, Battle of the Owners. Vince McMahon and Ric Flair going head-to-head in a street fight. This one, as JR would say, was not your catch-as-catch-can classic. But with that said, I think that he did a good job here. It was fun. It was all the bells and whistles that you'd expect. And you can tell that WWE at this point had no plans to make Ric Flair a full-time competitor. We'll get to that little more when we talk about the extras. But yeah, Ric Flair here. It's you know, they bleed all over the place. Vince McMahon, though, really dominates a big portion of this match. I'd say probably the most memorable piece of this match is when they go outside the ring. They wrestle right in front of the Flair family, and everyone's out there. You've got Megan, you've got Ashley, who would go on to become Charlotte Flair, David Flair, who wrestled for WCW, and obviously the late Reed Flair, who was just a youngster here, and obviously, unfortunately, was taken way before his time. But this is good fun here at this match, and Ric Flair comes away with the victory over Vince McMahon. Again, probably not your strongest in-ring stuff, but in terms of a fun, entertaining battle, it was fine for what it was. So I enjoyed this one. Moving right along here to the Undisputed WWF Championship, Chris Jericho versus The Rock. Not only have I been going back and watching all these shows on DVD, I've also been watching all the Raws and SmackDowns, and it's amazing how much they were building this up, as Jericho had absolutely no chance, and Rock was clearly going to be the winner, to the point that everybody kept coming over to Rock and saying that they were going to win the Rumble and face him at WrestleMania. It was like Jericho was a complete afterthought. Rock does do a little bit before getting to this match, in kind of trying to solidify Jericho as a champion and make him a viable champion, but at the end of the day, it wasn't there yet for him. I do think he does get there, but it doesn't last long, because unfortunately his legs are just cut out from under him when he eventually gets into that Stephanie McMahon storyline where she's on his side, and basically Stephanie takes over from him for that entire feud with Triple H heading into WrestleMania. So, but here we are. Jericho does do a good job in this match. This match is an underrated one. As a matter of fact, it's even on the Chris Jericho Road is Jericho kind of match compilation, where they followed Chris Jericho on the road. He talked about his favorite matches of his career, and this one's on it. It's Jericho doing everything he can to, you know, slime his way to another victory. Classic heel 2002 Jericho, where he's just, you know, a bit of a cowardly heel, but he finds a way to win and then can't help but boast about how great he is. Everyone gets involved here. The Un-Americans, before they are the Un-Americans, Lance Storm and Christian get involved. Jericho's hitting low blows. Jericho's cheating right and left. But at the end of the day, I think this was a lot of fun, and Chris Jericho ended up retaining the championship for yet another month, or I guess it's only his second month. He wins it at Vengeance 2001, but I thought it was interesting to see him keep the belt there, moving on to the road to WrestleMania. This brings us to the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble is kind of a tale of three matches in one here. First off, you have the returns of Val Venus and Goldust, Godfather, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig. Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig looked great. I do not understand why, following this match, they don't sign Mr. Perfect to a long-term deal and push him. Like, he was great. He looked like he lost nothing in this match. He looked awesome, and they didn't do anything with him. And to this day, I'm not too sure what happened. I know he obviously had some issues, but you'll see in my next review, he's not even on the No Way Out 2002 card. It's a little strange. But in any event, three different matches here. The first portion of it is the Undertaker show. Undertaker comes out, destroys everybody in the ring, gets rid of every kind of your Tommy Dreamers of the world. Then up come the Hardys. They have a nice little battle back and forth with the Undertaker. First time you kind of saw the Hardys in a while, and they kind of do the nibs, and they're on the same page. They go in there. Undertaker tosses them. This leads to Maven coming out, and it's always, I appreciate that at least on the DVD you get that Tough Enough music, because on the network the Tough Enough music is gone, and the Tough Enough, that Maven music that I can see the side of me, I'm not gonna sing the whole thing, but one of my favorite theme songs. So great to see that that's actually on the DVD. One of the charms, I guess, of having physical media, as Maven makes his way down, and Maven does this so well. Maven is just happy, he's excited, he's going on to, but at the end of the day, he realizes, oh my god, it's just Undertaker in the ring, and then he gets super scared. Taker's just laughing. Maven gets in there, and Hardy's jump back on the rope to distract Undertaker. Boom! Best dropkick in the biz. Maven knocks the Undertaker out of the ring. And this was right at a time where Tough Enough 2 was just ramping up, and so they were really pushing that, hey, this is worth watching, this show, because the next Maven could be coming out of this show, the guy who just eliminated Undertaker out of the Rumble. Post beatdown is scary and awful to watch, especially in 2021, where you know where everything's coming. Undertaker levels Maven with a chair, destroys him. The stuff in the crowd and the stuff through the popcorn machine is really great, but those chair shots are just brutal. Next portion of the Rumble is really the Stone Cold show. Austin eventually makes his way down. He gets rid of whoever's in the ring, and then he goes on a bit of a run until he's eventually interrupted by Triple H, and those two guys kind of go at it There's a great moment here where the Hurricane comes in there, and it's just the three of them in the ring, Hurricane, Hunter, and Austin. Hunter and Austin kind of stop fighting. Hurricane goes for the double choke slam. He's my favorite wrestler in 2002, so I was really excited about him hitting him with it, but of course they just look at each other, level him, and away Hurricane goes. And then the end of it is obviously all the big stars start coming in. The big guns come in one after another. Big Show, Kane, RVD, the aforementioned Mr. Perfect, Kurt Angle, everyone, one after another. It just fills up with so many stars, and eventually Triple H would go on to win, eliminates Kurt Angle, but Mr. Perfect's in the final three. And it got, he even outlasts Stone Cold. Austin gets dumped, and he starts leveling people with chairs right and left. And he's having none of the idea that he was unceremoniously dumped. But remember, Austin's a three-time winner. He had won the year before. It really looked like they were going to be maybe going with either Hunter or Austin. Obviously, though, Hunter was the odds-on favorite. I mean, just comes back from the injury. This was his show to win. And he is over, man. He is so freaking over as a top babyface. The rise of Triple H, the mega babyface, and it kind of blew this one too. And I'm not too sure why. We'll continue to see this as the shows and the months go by here, and we continue to uncover these shows in WWE 2002. Before I get out of here, let me break it down, the DVD extras, and I'll guide you on how to watch this show. All right, so you'll see here, Ric Flair says. So there's a Ric Flair up close. So before I get that, let's save Ric Flair up close for the end. You're gonna come back to that one at the end. Spike and Taz review their match. Spike and Taz reviewing their match, you should actually watch first. And the reason why is because that is actually the two of them just sitting in the locker room the next night before Raw. And they brought up and they wheeled a little television set for the two of them to watch and rewatch their entire match. So they rewatched the whole Taz and Spike against the Dudleys and do basically commentary over the match. So I really liked that. I thought it was really something different. I thought it was cool. Again, that match isn't a fantastic 5-star match. You probably don't need to sit through it twice. So if you're going to watch one of them, I'd say watch it with the version of Taz and Spike doing commentary. The rest of these is a post-Royal Rumble interview, so you watch that after the Rumble. But the other three, you should probably watch first. What Kurt, Triple H returns, and Stone Cold says. What these are is What Kurt takes place on Sunday Night Heat before the Royal Rumble. No match. Interesting about that. There was no pre-show match, no Heat match. Most of these DVDs do have the Heat match on the show. Not the case here, though. So they have What Kurt, and it basically is Kurt Angle coming out before his match and talking about he's going to win the Rumble. The crowd at this point is so into doing the What. This is a peak What. The Stone Cold What chant, peak What. It is just crowd doing it every chance they get. And the best foil for this is Kurt Angle. He gets so upset whenever they do it. He's a lot of fun to watch. Fun little interview. You should probably go ahead and watch that. I'd say if you want the full Royal Rumble 2002 experience, you can watch that. It's fun, and it's only a few minutes long. Triple H returns. This is, as you guys know, if you're long-term subscribers of the channel, I started this year off on January 7th because it was the 19-year anniversary of the return of Triple H at Madison Square Garden, something I was there for. And you'd think they'd want to show this entire clip right here. I mean, it's right on it's listed as the extras. I'm all excited to rewatch this and check it out. It's one of my favorite moments. Triple H comes out, he gets to the ring, he spits his water, and then they cut it off. I'm not sure why they didn't, it's such a good piece to get you ready for the Rumble. Hunter comes in, he makes his speech, he says, I'm the game, and I'm that damn good, and I'm back, right? And it gets you amped up for all things Royal Rumble 2002, because it's interrupted by Kurt Angle, and then boom, the action takes off from there. They don't show it. They cut it off right as he gets there. You don't even get the full entrance in terms of the crowd just eating it up and getting so excited to see Triple H back. It's completely cut off. It's very odd. I'm not sure why they do it that way. Certainly isn't the way I'd do it. Stone Cold Says, on the other hand, is a pretty inconsequential backstage interview from the same Raw at Madison Square Garden, January 7th, where Austin's backstage, and he's doing his fun little What interview, talking about getting in there for a tag match he had with The Rock against Bossman and Booker T. So a completely nothing match, and yet that entire clip is on this, but the Triple H Returns clip is not. So there's a little heat with me, this 19-year-old DVD. Post-Royal Rumble interviews, they're quick. They're a minute. If it's a minute, I mean, it would be about a minute. It's probably even being generous. Maven, so you do get a little post-Rumble Maven. Maven's got the little Band-Aid on his head, talking about what a great experience this was for him. Al Snow, he's basically just reiterating the point, talking about how great Maven is. And then Goldust and Val Venus, both of them talking about how great it is to be back. Goldust feels let down. He didn't win. Val Venus is angling hard. God bless him. For a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin that never came. Most of these Rumble returns lead to nothing. I mean, Goldust is barely on WrestleMania. The other three guys are not. No Val Venus, no Mr. Perfect, and no Godfather. So the returns in this Rumble lead to pretty much nothing, which is interesting. And then Ric Flair up close is a nice little retrospective look back at Ric Flair's career. You could tell they consider his career is pretty much done, and that they are ready to him to kind of move on into the next phase of his career. So kind of that post behind the scenes on-screen character type role. But it's a nice little look back at his career. It's interesting that like beginning of 2002 is when WWE really starts to say, all right, we won the war. Now it's time to really kind of acknowledge that we are going ahead here, and we're going to acknowledge history, and we're going to take a look back and tell history the way that we want it to be told. And so it's a nice little piece looking back at Ric Flair's career. He talks about his career while backstage somewhere, and just check it out. So watch those and the interviews after the show. The rest of the stuff watch prior. And yeah, but good stuff. A lot of bang for your buck with this one. This was a good, solid DVD, and I'm looking forward to continuing the journey through DVDs here in the year 2002. If you guys have any feedback on this show, I'd love to hear it. Any memories, leave them in the comment section below. Sorry, the review goes so late. I wasn't even going to do one at this point, but I figured, whatever. Can't get into No Way Out before wrapping up the Royal Rumble. So No Way Out 2002 unboxing, pretty much going to come the same day. So just boom, boom, maybe tomorrow morning, it'll be in the cut. It'll be uploaded, and you'll be able to see that right in your inbox. So make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.